within this regime of customs, excise, service tax, VAT, CST, there's a very specialized body called the DGFT.
Right.
DGFT is called the Directorate General of Foreign Trade. And a lot of exporters and these entities like SEZs are subject to this policy called the foreign trade policy.
Right.
So foreign trade policy is the document which provides you is the policy of the government to give exemptions to exporters, to SEZs, to developers, and then as per that policy, the Department of Customs or Excise comes out with notifications. So
Right.
in this case, there's a huge IT company which is manufacturing computers. It's an SEZ unit, but because it's an SEZ unit, it cannot take any benefit of exports. Any policies which are there for exports is not open for an SEZ unit. So they did their cost
But
benefit
they already
analysis.
have all their exemptions.
No, they only have exemption on the imports. On IT product, there's no export duty in any case.
Yeah.
So they did their cost benefit analysis. They realized that their benefit on input is far lesser than what they could have achieved had they been a DTA unit, that is a domestic
Right.
tariff area unit, and then exporting those goods. So what they started doing was they opened another entity in the DTA and started selling those goods to the DTA and exporting it through the DTA. And
Okay.
then the DTA started claiming exemptions.
And the SEZ unit would then shut down because there was no point to it.
Yeah, there was no point to it, but they did not at that point of time get an idea that we could at least get us denotified and then become a DTA unit, so to say. So they started off with selling those products to the DTA and then exporting it through the DTA. But the FTP has a particular provision which says that any exports made by DTAs of products manufactured by SEZs will not be eligible for a benefit.
Any export by DTAs of SEZ products.
Of SEZ products will not be eligible for any export related benefits under Chapter 3 of the FTP. So the problem with the litigation is this, that they issued us a show cause notice saying that the benefits which you have taken are incorrect. You could not have taken that. But
Right.
I told you initially at the start of the session that there are some chapters which say that even if you are labeling, relabeling, packing or repacking a good, it is a process of manufacture.
Right.
Right? So we were in fact relabeling those goods and then exporting it.
Yes.
So our ground in the court, strictly speaking, is that it is not the goods which we have got from the SEZ. We have undertaken a process. We are now exigible to service excise duty because we have relabeled those goods, and hence we should be eligible for the exemptions. So the matter is still going on. So it's a very interesting SEZ DTA related litigation.
Yes. The best idea to have, if you are an exporter, you should strategically be based in an SEZ if primarily you are going to use imported goods as your inputs.
Yes.
If a lot of these goods are going to be domestically sourced, then you might just be a unit located in domestic tariff area.
No, even if you're domestically sourcing goods, you have an excise duty exemption on sourcing of those goods. Yes. All you need to do to become an SEZ unit or not to become an SEZ unit is a cost benefit analysis, and that is also a very important exercise which all the businessmen who are thinking of turning into an SEZ unit should do, because what really depends upon is what is your value addition of the input vis-a-vis your output. One, what is the turnover of export sales vis-a-vis the DTA sales? Two.
Right.
So, and there are a lot of other factors as to where are you located, what is your transportation cost. The SEZ locations are fairly far away from the main city or the ports. So, I have seen that it has become very, very uncomfortable and uneconomical for entities to operate in an SEZ zone because the raw materials, one, cannot reach them on time. If they do reach, there's a huge transportation cost on them. And it's a huge, being an SEZ is a huge issue. So you need to do your background study well to come to a conclusion whether you should become an SEZ unit or not at the first place.
Okay, so there are, what are the factors? Can we just do a quick summary? One is the transportation and timing issues, which is usually a logistics problem.
It's a logistics problem. One, what is the value addition on your input vis-a-vis your output? So if there is a huge value addition, then your domestically sourced duty saved vis-a-vis your export benefit would be huge if there's a value addition, a huge gap. If there's a less value addition, then the export benefit vis-a-vis your duty benefit in terms of sourcing of import and the domestically procured goods would be less. Secondly, what is important is to find out that what is the proportion of DTA sale versus the export sales. The benefit are only in respect of those goods which are exported. If you're doing a DTA sale, then you have to pay duty and then clear it for DTA sales. There is a limit on DTA sales, which is I think around 50% of products can be sold to DTA. So if you are doing a 50% DTA and 50% export, most of the cases SEZ will not be a very beneficial affair. Also, you need to understand this, that whether there is any Chapter 3 exemption for the goods which you are exporting. Now, there are exemptions which are for focus product schemes, there are focus market schemes. Focus market schemes are such that if you are exporting any good to a particular market, you have a duty benefit. So you need to see all of that. If there is no exemption to your product, which you can adopt, which you can take under the FTP, then there is no point becoming a DTA unit. You may as well be an SEZ unit, and then. So all these factors need to be taken into consideration before deciding whether you should become a DTA unit or an SEZ unit.